What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Jordan. This is my 2012 Genesis Coupe. Today we're going to be pulling the trans on this. We got Tyler over here, my helping assistant. Yeah. He's going to be doing most of the work today. We're going to show you guys what's going on, how to do it, basically just step by step. So yeah, I mean,
it seems like it should be pretty easy.
Pretty easy for pulling a trans wise. I mean,
it seems pretty straightforward. So we'll see how it goes.
And I see a lot of the YouTube guys are selling their Genesises out there. Orion, a couple other channels I've been following. So hopefully we can fill the void for some of you guys looking for the Genesis videos and whatnot. So yeah.
And I got a Miata that also might be having some work done on the channel as well.
Slamming that bitch. A few other little things, you know, easy things. So yeah, let's get into it. And we were lucky enough to have a sponsor for the video today. Keystone Ice, baby. Let's get into it, boys.
Got all the tools ready. I'm a full-time mechanic, so at least we got enough equipment that we know that we can get some stuff done.
Alright, so before we get under the car, I just want to give you a little walk around it. So we got the Widebody flares on there. Some ISC N1 coilovers. They're alright. I mean, for the price I paid for them. Z wheels, rep wheels out here, but like I said, some of the prices you get for these things, I mean, just can't beat them, man. Fat old ass. I thought about posting videos of putting the flares on and whatnot. But yeah, like I was saying, I was thinking about posting this how-to video on the flares, but actually, shouts out to Tyler Cordera. He's actually the one. I had bought these flares and I seen him put them on. I was questioning the quality at first, but you know, you get what you pay for, you know that. So, but I mean, overall, they look pretty mint, man. They really do.
Alright, first thing we gotta do, we're gonna start by pulling this heat shield out. Just 4 10mm bolts at the 4 corners. Then we're gonna get the drive shaft out. That'll be our next step. I think that's a couple of 19s and 17s if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right.
And then, yeah, we'll start here and
go from there.
Pick up where we left off.
Just one other thing on the drive shaft. The bolts are actually reverse threads. I think there's 3 of them. 1, 2, and then 3 up top. So
lefty tighty, righty loosey, opposites. And we're taking it off here because we're not sure if we're going to drain the transmission fluid yet. It doesn't have a ton of miles on it, so we're going to try and keep the yoke on and keep the fluid in the trans when we pull it. So we'll see. So we might lose some, but that's to be found out. So keep going. Now we're just going to start, you know, pulling electricals. It's got some ground wires, a couple of connectors for backup lamps and switches and stuff like that. So we're just going to get the electrical stuff off, and then we'll probably start pulling the lines for the slave cylinder, just because they're right there anyways, right over here. So we'll pull that off, the line off, and keep on moving.
Alright, so we got the ground off the side of the transmission on this side.
And then this is your backup switch, your reverse lamp switch connector. It's on the kind of on the top of the trans. It's pretty easy to get to though. And then they also have you pull out the crank sensor, which is also right up here.
I don't know if you can see that.
I don't know if you can see that, but it's up there. Maybe we'll go from the top. You can see it a little better. But now, since we're right here, we're just going to start pulling the starter off. There's a couple of wire clamps and whatnot. Starter's going to come off 2 14mm bolts. Make sure you disconnect your battery. You don't want to electrocute yourself. So, keep going, keep going, keep going. Alright, so while we were away, we just kind of popped the starter loose. Just going to leave it there for now. It's kind of in a weird spot. I was going to take it all the way out, but I'm just going to leave it in for now. Now we're going to start pulling our shifter clips and bushings and linkages from the trans and try and get the rest of this out of the way. And I mean, we're moving pretty quick here. This isn't going too bad, so we'll see. We'll be back. So we got the clips off of the brackets for this mount here. They're kind of like, it's like a slide pin deal. I've never dealt with one of those before, but fairly easy. They are a little tight and they are a little flimsy, so use good force, but don't force them if they're not going. And then we got the shifter linkage disconnected from the shifter. There is a clip over on the driver's side that you can just release. You can kind of see it, that real rusty part. But I didn't want to chance that clip breaking with as rusty as it was, so I'm just unbolting it from the shifter itself, and we'll just leave that linkage on there when we drop the trans. So still moving along. Pretty easy, honestly.
Alright, so next we're going to be lowering the sway bar. Not necessarily something you have to do, but definitely going to make the job a little bit easier to get the trans out. Then we got 8 14mm bolts on the trans, so we're going to lower that down.
Sway bar link is also 14. You can basically take this whole thing apart with 14, 17, and a 19. Basically that's like the majority of the wrenches, sockets you need to do all this. But yeah, I read on a forum it gives you a little bit more clearance to if you just let the sway bar hang down, it gives you a little more clearance when you're pulling the trans. But like he said, not necessary, but it's 4 bolts, might as well make our day a little easier.
Alrighty, so we got 6 of the 8 transmission bolts out so far. We realize the top 2 are going to be easier to access from the top. Next we're going to be taking out the slave cylinder bolt.
The junction, we're going to get the line off of it. That's going to be our next step, and then pull the cross member, the top 2 bolts, and we should have this trans out.
I mean, what, we've been under here for a little bit over an hour actually working?
Yeah, probably about an hour, and we're almost ready to come out already, so yeah, fairly easy if you're planning on doing it yourself, honestly. Definitely a job you can do in your garage. So actually, we were looking closer, there's a little circlip that'll go right in here on the top side, and that actually, it's just like a quick disconnect fitting for this bleeder assembly that goes onto the slave. So you actually don't even have to disconnect any lines. They're just like this quick disconnect with a U-clip that looks like this that comes out of the top, and then this will just pop off the back. So easier than having to mess with lines.
Side note for transmission bolts, the 8 of them, so they're a little bit different. We got 4 lowers, 2 mids, and 2 tops, so you just want to make sure you keep those organized so you're not trying to, you know, jam the wrong bolts into the wrong place. Definitely don't want to do that, so keep yourself organized.
Alright, so we got the jack underneath the trans to support the rear of it. These Genesis transmissions are actually pretty heavy towards the rear of it. The majority of the weight's in the rear, so you want to kind of set it back a little bit further than you would think. But yeah, we're, again, 14 millimeters, 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will come out. We got the connection for the slave cylinder off, and then really we just got the last 2 top bolts, and this trans should come out. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Just like that. Got the last 2 bolts out. Gave her a little bit of prying and
shaking a wiggle,
and she's out. Like I said, probably hour and a half into it, maybe.
If we sat down and really just worked, it would probably have taken us an hour to get that trans out. Probably just an hour.
Honestly.
Easy peasy.
Alright, so reason we had to pull the trans on my car, slave cylinder took a dump on me at 44,000 miles, which isn't a crazy amount, but things happen. That's what happens. We got 3 bolts that we had to take off of the slave cylinder, 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom, and then we're gonna take that out and just take a look at it, see what really happened. I'm sure it's just the gasket, probably fit it out.
Oh yeah, you can see the internal seals are just blown out of it.
Yeah, like I said, 44,000 miles on the car, but
junk.
That's what happens. Could have been worse, I guess. Crazier things happen. Alright guys, so that just about sums that up. Trans is out of the car, obviously, you've seen that. It's not going back in right away just because contemplating possibly doing a clutch in the near future. If so, you guys will definitely see that.
Shifter bushings too.
Shifter bushings definitely got a couple issues going on that I'm trying to solve and whatnot. Huge shout out to Keystone again for sponsoring this video. It couldn't make it happen without you guys. No, I'm just playing, but yeah, definitely want to put out more content than this. There's a few other ideas that I have going on. Like he said, he's got me out of that. We want to do a few things on, so I'm sure you guys will see that as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that just about wraps it up. Hopefully this video was helpful enough for you guys. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to see everything going on under the car, lighting, and being so close to, you know, everything. So
honestly, but step by step, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's definitely doable in your own garage.
Yeah,
definitely.
And like we said, I mean, did it in under hour and a half, so
about an hour and a half, yeah. With a couple breaks.
Couple medium breaks, couple beer breaks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time, guys. Thank you.